record, can you please state your name?
My name is Andrew R. Venturo.
And your rank?
Carpenter's mate, 2nd class.
What was the branch of military that...
Amphibious.
In your company?
No company.
What do you think your favorite memory from your service would be?
I think the most part I enjoyed or anything like that when I was on watch and I had to go to the penthouse or the pilot house, because my job was there to report to the officer on day, and my biggest thrill was steering the ship. It was, because when you're in the front there, you see the front going up and down, and when you put it on degrees, they tell you what degrees you're going, and the ship never traveled straight. It was always zigzag, so you had to go more, and then you bring it back easy to that point that you were supposed to steer it on, and that was my biggest point.
Can you tell us a little bit about your service?
My service was the carpenter's mate, and when we're aboard ship, you pertain to your your grade, your carpenter. You do that kind of work. But if you're a seaman, then you stand watch, and you do chip and paint. And when you're all done painting, you start over again and chip it again and paint. And then when you're getting ready for an invasion, then you go through, you pick up your troops and everything, and that's where all the trouble starts, because you got too many people on that one ship over there. Because we used to pick up the Marines and pick up a division, and you got all their equipment. Like that, the tanks and your food and stuff like that. And that was like our job when there was an invasion. And after the invasion, we bring the troops to the beach, and they form a beachhead. From the beachhead, they try to conquer the island. In other words, they're making the island safe. So then we got people, I was on that too for a while, the beach party, where the stuff comes in and they give you so many miles or perimeters to stay in there, because if you go over that, then you got like snipers and all like that, and it's danger. So I didn't like that too much, and that's why I wised up a little bit and be a carpenter.
Did anyone get seasick on the little ships?
That's something I could say. I never got seasick, but I seen them seasick, and I used to laugh at them, and it's nothing to laugh at, because when you're seasick, boy, that's worse than being sick.
Is there any specific moment that you can remember in which you were the most scared?
Well, you're always scared when the general quarters, and you could take yourself to, the only way I could plan, you got these ships, like the convoys, which are your troops, and they're getting ready, and you got battle wagons and all like that in the back of you. They're never near you, because they could get back 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever it is, because their guns, you know, could shoot, see? So then when H-hour is, like our little boats were out there circling with the troops. When we get H-hour, then we're going towards the land. And that's the bad part, because we had one time over there, this Marine were unloading this amphibious tractor-like, and the lights went on. So over the loudspeaker, you're doing everything in the dark, right? So when the loudspeaker went out, they says, either put that light out or we're going to shoot you. See, even your own light, they're going to shoot you.
On the main ship that you were on, did you ever fear that it would be attacked? Like, was that...
We were always attacked. I got another big scare when we're in a convoy, bringing troops, like when you're going to different places, and we always had destroyers. These are small boats and they're fast. There are protections. Plus, you got the air carriers way in the back, because they never go in there. And like your enemy or stuff, they like to get in these convoys in the middle, just like we're talking, and you can't shoot, because if I shoot, I'm hurting you, right? So they used to get away with a lot of stuff. And the worst thing is a submarine. So all you see is them little things, and these sub-chasers over there used to drop the bombs, and it's like your thermos bottle. Once them bomb hits near the sub, they explode, and you got a vacuum. That's where all the water comes in your heart. But it's good educational.
Are you still in contact with any of the men that you served with?
Just one. The three of us, I was surprised there. I was always talking about my buddy in Minnesota. So this one, I think it was last year or whatever it was, they got together and surprised me, and we all went out to see him. And we were out for the week over there. Real good and happy to see each other.
What was your favorite moment that you two shared together?
Well, I think the favorite moment you share over there is when you got your points in. I was waiting for points to get discharged right after the war, and I ended up in Detroit, Michigan. And when you got in there, our colonel gave us the high sign, and they gave us that ruptured duck. That was the beauty part, because we all ended up in the saloon.
When you first entered the war, how did your family feel about you serving?
Well, it wasn't, there was a draft on. It was either you join up and join the service that you wanted to get into, or you joined the Army. And I had Army experience and like that, CC camp experience, and I didn't like that. That's why I joined the Coast Guard. And the beauty part, when I got in there, I had to go all the way to Alameda, California. That's boot camp. And the time I went in, we were in such good shape. By that we mean we didn't even have guns or nothing. We used to practice with broom handles. And that used to be I could always remember it, where the World's Fair, like New York, when they had the one in California, that was our boot camp over there, because we had the barracks and everything. And then when you first sign up and everything, everybody's new to everybody else. And they could look you in the eye and everything. They're looking for you to stand watch. You go, no, I never seen them. That's why they come out. Well, you got to put your name on all the time. And it's on all your clothes and everything.
What is the most important thing you learned from your experiences?
Well, like obey orders and do your, when your order is given, because it's all group. You're always working in group. Now, if you got one slack off, like the Army, right? The sergeant gives the things. Now, if you got one guy in there goofing off all the time, that ain't going to work. That's the same way in any service. You got to work together. Pull as one. Because if you're individual, then you're done. That's the same way with all your ships. And I was attached to the 7th Fleet, Nimitz. And once in a while, our captain over there, when he gave us a little R&R, he used to have the binoculars out and looking all around, and he'd find an island where it was all water around you, right? And then that's where they put you. Then you're sure we know where you are, so you won't take off.
Did you perform, like, when everyone was getting to know each other, did you perform any, like, certain initiations or anything like that?
I crossed the date line, and I crossed the equator a couple of times. And my biggest thrill with the date line, we got paid just the day before. When we crossed it again, we wanted to get paid again, and that don't work. It's good experience. But to say, like, would you do it again or something like that? Yeah. You can't say that, because I'm one of the lucky ones that come back. Yeah. And these poor veterans that most of the 3/4 or the better half of it, they either got something, a limb missing or thing, or some bolt. That's what I could say. I'm damn lucky. It just wasn't my time.
So would you encourage, like, younger men to enlist now, like today?
Well, not today, because you got that war going on. And you got these other people over there that they're just debating either putting more money in there or sending more troops over there. Now, if they need more troops, why don't they go? And they can't fight against them because he's our commander, right? Your president's a commander. That's what I don't like about it. And to start off with, they even said it when he says they had bombs there and everything. So we had bombs there, and the UN, we spent a lot of money for the UN for protection, and he didn't want to wait. And that's why you went, and when he declared war, that didn't last long now. But look, what do you call this over here? If them people want to be like that, let them be like that. Everybody can't be the same way. It's a big uproar. You got to get people that's well educated like that. If I had to do it again, I'd make sure I finished school. And you got all these colleges. You got West Point, you got the Academy for Coast Guard, you got the Air Force and everything. Be an officer. This way you pat you on the back. You're first. I'm in the back for you, see. They don't go in the front of you. I'm telling you, it's, I don't know. And she laughs over there, see, your mother.
What would you say, like, what would you do for fun when you weren't working aboard ship or anything like that?
Well, you got a lot of opportunity. And the smart ones, I believe, free universities and colleges. And if you're halfway in between, a vocation school where you learn a trade. And then if you're really on the bottom where you don't care about this or that, then you could go work for McDonald's or Burger King or wherever you want to go work for the minimum wages. It's all up to the individual. Now that's all I hear on the radio over there. Would you like to be a millionaire? It's these people who are always telling you how to be a millionaire, the ones that are getting rich, and you're still poor. So where are you going to go?
So what did you do for fun?
For fun? I just told you. He says that the Filipino there was a spy or something. We used to go out and get drunk and girls. Don't you understand? The Navy's got a girl in every port. That's life. That's your life of the Navy.
Did the Navy and the Coast Guard get along?
Why, sure. But during peacetime, they're under the Treasury Department. They got their own. And first, before I even ended up joining the Coast Guard, I was like a Navy man with the submarines. And my buddy and I, we seen a movie about the Coast Guard, about these lighthouses and guarding ships and all like that. I said, geez, that's easy. So that's why I joined, right? I thought it was going to be easy. But then when they, before supper or every day you'd have to dress up with your undress blues and you march. When you're done marching, then you go eat, right? So this one day we got done with our parade and everything like that, and there was some admiral or something over there with his staff, and he gave a big speech, and then he says, any sailor or anything wants sea duty, raise their hand. So I wanted sea duty. I went like that. They come around with the pen, they took your name and serial number, and you were on sea duty, right? So that's how I got it. And this USS Arthur Middleton, I put that in commission because that was an African ship, like a cargo and passenger. And when the war broke out, I guess they took it over. And I don't know why they named him the USS Arthur Middleton. He's only an Englishman. And this is the United States, right? Maybe we ran out of names.
Now, you say that you traveled all over the world. What would probably be your favorite spot that you went to?
Well, Honolulu. I was on the, what's that, West Coast all the time. I never got to the East Coast because I had it in my mind that like Italy, France, and all like that, because I wanted to get to Italy, and I wanted to find out where my grandparents were born, and I wanted to go knock on the door and tell them, hey, I'm Tony Venturo's son over there. And you know what they probably tell me? Get out of here, go on home. So what are you going to do? But it's educational. You got a lot of, like I call bookworms and everything. That's all. I was out going to the nearest saloon and all like that. But you had a lot that sightseeing, libraries, they go to a theater and stuff like that. That never fazed me.
When you were, before you were in the Coast Guard, did you see any, like, horrendous scenes that may, like, stick in your mind?
No, I never got real close to the actual fighting and stuff like that, right? But as far as that goes, when you're on liberty, you got to go someplace where the Marines ain't there, because they're dirty fighters. Yeah, they use their belt. You ever notice their belt with the nice steel buckle? So they didn't care. They wrap it around like that, and they use that as a weapon. And some of them Navy guys, we had a little pocket in the back of our blouse. They used to carry a knife over there. And I happened to be there at the time. The Mexicans, we used to call them Pachuks, and the sailors were fighting. We get in cabs and chase each other. But that's life.
What do you mean by cabs? Like taxis?
Taxis. We didn't care who paid. We just used to get in.
What were some of the other places you traveled to?
Well, there's San Francisco. I never seen San Francisco. That was our home port, San Francisco. And the beauty part, while I was going in school, I had one friend over there. We always just argue about Alcatraz, where it was and everything. And when I seen it, it's just like a rock over there. Now it's a museum. You could go see it, a tourist attraction. And there it is over there. I said, you could throw a rock at it. It's right under the bridge, you know, near the bridge. And the only difference why you can't escape is the ocean there. You got all these different currents. That ain't one current, and that's why it's hard to escape from there. So I don't know, whatever I seen, I kind of enjoyed. And Washington, D.C., the state of Washington, Puget Sound, I like that.
What was it like there?
Well, we had to go and dry dock. They were fixing the ship. And from like Seattle, the big town, we were like in Puget Sound. It took us about 2 hours on boat to get to the Seattle over there. And what happened? We always just have a bottle. We're half bombed anyway. We didn't care how long it took.
Which place had the best girls?
I don't know. I didn't have too many because I didn't know enough. No, you go. No matter where you go, you travel the world. You always got that clientele. That didn't faze me or anything like that. I was no saint. Don't get me wrong.
Can you tell us?
Boot camp? Well, it's like it's actually you take it out of your house, right? You say you get up in the morning, you do this, then that. When you're in boot camp, no matter what it is, everything's by the whistle or the bullhorn over there. Do this and do that and get out and muster and parade. And they teach you more or less how to tie knots, right? Because a sailor, and you always carried a knife anyway in case you get stuck with the ropes, you cut your ropes out. And parades. But they're learning you the fundamentals of, say, the Navy. And when you come out of there, you're actually a seaman second class, and when you make first class, you got the stripes, you know, the white ones, the three, and one over here, one big one. And then when you're rated, it's no matter what you are. If you're a yeoman, they have like pens. Third class, you could go up to chief, and then from chief, it's like warrant. And then you're a 90-day wonder. and then you could go to college. It's up online over there. It's up to the individual, and wherever you are, and because you always got somebody that's well, either you don't like or they don't like you, and they're always giving you the crap all the time, right? When I was seaman, first class, I used to stand my watches, and then all these other duties you have, like they take, say like now the teacher over here, clean the board, they get you. So I used to end up in the galley all the time, right? And I used to look over there, the pots and pans, I said, geez, that's the easy work, right? But it wasn't. You get done cleaning all these pots and pans, and then that screwball comes over to another pot. He's always dirtying pots. So the wind-up was, I said, I don't like this. So I got to know, like, first class, and they always, over there, if you're trying for a job, them are strikers, see? First you're an apprentice, and then after that you strike for what you want to be. So I wanted to strike for carpenter's mate, so I had the cook, right? Well, I couldn't stand in the galley anyway. The cook and this first-class carpenter, you know, because I had jobs both ways over there working as a seaman. So then finally I said, boy, I ain't getting no place over here. And aboard ship, when I was, see up these masts over here, see like the side thing over there? I forgot, that's about 30 feet. Them are lookouts. You got binoculars, you climb the ladder, and you're up there all day, you know, you're going like that, right? If you see something, you telephone it in, right? They go, don't bother me. So, no, I'm not saying. So anyway, this, I was standing watch, right? And the one from the galley come over, he said, geez, you stand a good chance because we want cooks. And I don't know what made me say, I said, no, this other guy, you know, in the carpenter shop, he said, he can't do that, I want you, right? So I had my pick, either one, so I took carpenters. And that guy, he probably wanted to throw me overboard anyway. Because in there it's hard. You're in a room, no windows, no nothing. I don't know how they do it. And then they come out. We used to carry food for a month or like that on that. And then when we ran out of that, they used to have this dehydrated stuff. And you got to believe me, our cooks were skinnier than we were. And they didn't even know how to cook. But
how many men were on your ship?
Oh, I forgot. I know there was 4 divisions, like two divisions in the back, port and starboard, and on the front there's 2, see? And out of that you got like who's ever this and that and broke it up. We used to muster with the one on the port side all the time, because then you had like the engineers, like the motormen and all like that, they had their own division. But the troops, when we used to have troops, we used to crowd it, I'm telling you, boy, real crowded.
What were the rooming situations like?
Oh, you're like Tiffany's, the best. We used to have a, when I put standing watch and this ship's going in commission, I used to stand watch, and that's all I used to see is these staterooms, right? You know, these Liberty ships with the tours and all that baloney. I said, man, this is all right, right? So the people that used to work there, what are you talking about, this is all right? I says, hey, look at that, stateroom, that ain't for you, right? Them are officers. And we used to sleep, like our hole was as big as this, and we used to have pipes from up there down here, and there used to be 5 bunks, right? Because after I got rated, I was on the bottom because that's the cool spot, right? But then when you get on your bed to get up there, you're always walking on yours, and it's all it was is a piece of canvas, right? Strings over there, and then when you're done, you come out, and they're all up like that because it's out of the room. It wasn't like the Navy, which you got to see, you know, you see things, or like a hammock. We didn't have that, see. So then I said, oh, yeah? I said, you down here and me up there, so it was all right. But the troops had it bad. They were the same way. They were 5 high. And the bathroom was, well, you know how the cows, your cows out in the pasture, that tub where they drink water? Well, that was the toilet. And the restroom, they only had about 5 or 6, because you had to hurry up. If you wanted to clean up, you know, you got to get up earlier and go first. And if you had the duty, Because when we had troops on, they used to shut the water off on us. The water would be on so long. So then if I was on duty or something and you had to watch, we had a GI can. We used to put it in the shower, you know, fill that up. So when the water's out of that, you know the scuttlebucks where you drink cold water? We used to get the water out of that, see, and that's how smart we were. But then they shut that thing off, so you had to hurry up. But they survived. People survived. And when we used to have troops, because we used to start in the morning feed, and they feed them all day and night over there. That's how many troops you had. And you take a troop that was on an island, especially our bake shop. That was beautiful. And that's the first thing when they used to come through the line over there. I mean, they grabbed the whole loaves, right? So then we were running out of bread all the time, so then they used to give them two at a time like that. And when we had troops, we used to eat standing up. From them pipes, that was the same way in the galley, and they used to put in there when we're alone, we used to take that out and put the table down where regular table, and we used to have benches. But with the troops, they're so crowded and everything, you got to eat now standing up. And that's where you get that old sickness over there, seasickness, all these show-offs. Because when I was mess cooking, you know, plop them in like the Army style, so they come out, and this was, I forgot, Thanksgiving or Christmas it was over there. I had mess cooking, and we were docked. We were in San Francisco, right? So they come through the chow line, we're giving them like that. Oh, I want that too, you know, man, you give them that. So when we're out to sea, right, the ship's going like that, up and down. Hey, I said, no. But it's not funny to be seasick. And they used to go and they all lay down, right? They think. But the best thing is you got to eat something. You got to eat something, even if it's bread. But they didn't like that. And we had like our own hospital. I'm telling you, it's like a floating hotel over there. You had everything there.
Because there were so many people on the ships, were there fights a lot, or no?
No, there was always gambling. I showed you that picture I was saying Mass. I forgot what island that was. Remember that picture I showed? Yeah, we had the priest over there, and he said Mass, and I said, yeah, see, the only thing, when you do stuff like that, you got to dress all the time. You're undressed, and so I put the thing, and I went out. Okay. And then we had our own band. We had our own little band. And then I forgot where we were. What do you call there? Like the USO? We seen one of those shows, but you take a little thing over there, what? You got to be way back in Rochester or better. That's how many troops, right, to watch with binoculars, all that. So I used to go the heck with it. So then we had, what was her name? Jeanette McDonald and Nelson Eddy, the opera singers. That one day they says they're coming aboard, you know, for a little show. So I remember we moved that piano 5 times from the officers' mess out on deck over there, so where they're going to be, and they never showed up. Something happened where they didn't come. So we gave that up. And then we had, what's his name, Tooney? He was like commander. Dempsey, the boxer. And his job was like a goodwill ambassador, just like what you're doing now. You could have certain hours, and you go up to them, you give them your name, rank, and serial number, and where you're from, and they used to have like a film, like they send home to your folks and stuff like that. First time I seen them going like that, big over there. No, but if a guy wanted to make a career out of it, you could make a career out of it. And as far as that goes, what the heck, people raise families, and you got all the benefits, but you got to like that kind of life.
How did the officers treat you that you worked with?
Well, they never associated with us. We had 2 what we used to call, they come from West Point, and they used to call them in them days 90-day wonders. You know, say like if you were a lawyer or something in the civilian, well, you join up or something, see, you're go to school over there, and then you're like an officer, not a full lieutenant, assistant lieutenant, because then when you make lieutenant, you get the 2-bar. But into us, because on when we're not doing nothing, we'd be on the fantail of the ship. That's the end of the ship, and you'd be talking this and that, and they'd always come out and say, boy, you guys, I wish we could eat with you, but if they got $1.25, right, and we got $1, they used to get a nickel or something out of our dollar, you know, to go like that. But they always used to rub it in with our chow, but they never want to eat with it. They more or less sit down and eat like gentlemen. They were gentlemen. And then we had, what's his name? Bob, not Bob Hope. I don't know, he's a musician over there. The Bobcats, what the hell was his name? I even forgot his name over there. We had the band aboard ship over there because we were dropping them off someplace. Because we were always from one island to another, unless there was an invasion, then you get in groups and you practice. You practice like everything else, and then when you're going, you're going. So you go to the island wherever you're going. I remember one island we went in, you'd think you were going to the RFA over there watching a football game. That's how close the islands were. And this big ship, and your ships, you know, where they go in, we took positions like, I forgot if it was the Marshall Islands or anything, from island to island. They used to go, and the Japanese are going, they get beat here, they move on the other island. And then when it was the last, because when we pulled in there, like your board ship, you're looking like that, there they are on the side over there, they're waving at us too, right? So finally we won over there, but the last island where they all congregate, because they didn't care, you know, they're just like today, car bombs and all like that, they just soon bomb themselves. But at least you say like an American, right? You can go fight, but you want to come out alive, don't you? No, it's, I guess the real ones you got to talk are the soldiers, you know, Army. The ones, are, well, even the Marines, the ones that are out there night and day in the foxhole shooting and all that baloney, and hand-to-hand when they run out of bullets. You've seen movies, I'll bet you $1 you've seen movies, them war movies, how they are. And that's true, we're the same thing. But only in the movies, you know, cut, you done it wrong. Are we cutting now? See, the same thing. They do the same thing. So, tell your students, study. And better yet, you know, get up in the higher thing where you realize instead of a car, huh? Very nice. No, but never fails. But without an education, I found that out. You ain't going no place. Believe me, believe me.
Can you tell us about any of the Marines that you picked up and the troops that you picked up on your ship?
Well, we never used to get chummy. No, but that's because you know you're going, you don't know, you're making evasion, you're going on land, you're fighting. You don't know if you're going to come out or like that. See, that's the trouble. You don't very get, the people aboard ship usually get, I had a beard, believe it or not, right? A beard, I'd raise a beard. And I used to go around there all like that. New guys come out, they know you, that's all they knew you had a beard. And this one day, Jimmy Ferrara, right? Him and I, we going, well, let's shave our beards off. I said, no. And you got to watch out because if you shave it out with all that heat and thing, you know, it burns you. So we left it on there. I'd be walking around, they didn't even know me. So where are you going to go? No.
Did you write any letters to anyone when you were away?
Just home, I used to write home. And always they had that extra PS on there. How's everything? Send me 5. You know, same as you go to college or something. Send me 5. It's the same thing. And Jimmy's his sister used to send him like shoes and stuff like that. A lot of times they wouldn't fit him. I'd end up with the shoes. So. And look at Jimmy. He went through the war, right? Did you see him over there, one leg? He helped a lady push the car, right? You're supposed to go forward. She went backwards, and then before you know it, gangrene set in, so they lost his leg. See, that's what I mean. You could go through war, right? Bombs drop over here if it ain't touching you, but you maybe just a little scratch. See, you survive. But I think personally, if it's your turn, it's your turn. I don't care where you are. Even crossing the street or stuff like that. So it's a tough life. And no matter what branch you go into, they're all different. All right, Air Force. All right, suppose you run out of gas and stuff over there. That crashes, right? You're aboard ship. You get a torpedo. That goes down. That's bad. The Army over there, the bombs, you're gone. So that's the chance you take. And when you join a service, it's a service, right? And what do you learn in the service? How to fight, how to kill or be killed. So there you go, especially the Marines. Boy, get a Marine over here, boy, he's really glory happy. And they're tough, I'm telling you, boy, when they go through something, all that baloney. I didn't hear you, right? You got
Well, that pretty much wraps it up.
Well, if I knew that, I would have come prepared. I went to the library and check up on all this stuff. No, that's nice, but what I got, like even the kids over there, finish school. Don't be like, what the hell, I went to ninth grade, and I ended up, my father was chasing me down the block all the time. Go back, right? The only way I got rid of him, I went to the CC camp, see? Civilian, and there you learn, and you're under the Army. And then I had the Army treatment, the MCT. If you go there, it's by the flag. Once you first start like an apprentice, say you're a white, and then next year you go, and every year you had to go for a month. And the last time I went was in Plattsburgh, New York, Lake Champlain, and the Army took care of you. You're living in tents and everything. I got some pictures of those, but the guy that took my pictures always either had my head off or something, and the other ones I was by. But you live and learn, just like in school. You go, what the heck am I taking this course for? I ain't never going to use it. Too bad. Too bad you don't use it, but it all boils down to that. So, I don't know. We're all set? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Too bad I couldn't help you more.